Lake Lanier, which is a man-made lake, resides over what was once a town called Oscarville. It's named after a 19th century Georgia poet, Sidney Lanier, whose poem, Song of the Chattahoochee, is an ode to the river that feeds it. It's the largest lake in Georgia, and the deadliest in the United States. Today, it looks like a peaceful and serene place where one could boat and fish for hours or go for a peaceful swim. Looks, however, can be very deceiving. So many horrific tragedies have occurred since the lake opened that many believe the lake to be cursed and haunted by many of the ghosts of the residents who once lived there. Some of the dark history can be traced back all the way to the 1830s, when the United States wiped out many of the Native Americans by forcing them to walk the Trail of Tears, which ran right through the area. How many died during that trip is hard to imagine. However, many claim that the troubled area's hauntings began some 80 years later. It all started on the night of September 5 of 1912. 22-year-old Ellen Grice was a married white woman who claimed that two African American men tried to sexually attack her, but was scared off by Ellen's mother. Just a few days later, on September the 9th, another attack was made on 18-year-old Sleety Mae Crow. She was attacked and her head was crushed during the process. 5 black men were arrested for the assaults, and a black preacher, who had suggested that maybe the first victim had had consensual sex with the black man, was horsewhipped in the town square and left nearly dead. The town, which was roughly 10% African American, was left in shambles after the hangings of the 2 men. Many people were ran out of town, and many were terrorized simply for being what many of the whites considered the wrong race. Many businesses and houses were burned, and the population of the once thriving town declined significantly. The town soon became a ghost town. Several years later, a plan was devised to eliminate the town altogether. What better way to erase a town than to build a lake? The lake's original purposes were to provide hydroelectricity, navigation, and flood control of the Chattahoochee River, and water supply for the city of Atlanta. Plans soon began in the mid-1940s. Groundbreaking began in 1950. Part of Georgia Highway 53 had to be abandoned that ran too close to the planned shoreline. Gainesville's Looper Speedway was also condemned and abandoned, and was also eventually flooded. Lake Lanier began filling in 1956, and in 1957, 20 miles downstream, Morgan Falls Dam was raised to regulate the flow from Buford Dam and regulate the flow of water to Atlanta. The problem, many believe, is the fact that Lake Lanier's flooded the entire town of Oscarville, which not only displaced over 700 residents at the time the area was flooded, but that many graves were disturbed and moved in the process of the building of the lake. What's even worse was the fact that many graves weren't even bothered to be relocated. They were simply flooded by the lake waters, along with all of the town's once prosperous history. Since 1956, close to 700 deaths have occurred in the waters of the lake. Sometimes over 20 people each year. Aside from the horrendous number of deaths, the numbers of missing people and seriously injured are purely staggering. Each year, thousands of people venture out into the serene waters of Lake Lanier for boating and swimming, many not knowing of the lake's spooky past. Some are never seen alive again. Many have even claimed to see the spirit they call the Lady of the Lake, who strolls across the shoreline, only to vanish. A lot of the swimmers have claimed that while they were swimming, phantom arms are seen coming out of the lake to grab them while they swim, and many claim they are actually grabbed, but no one is around in the water at the time. There has been many people claim to hear phantom screaming, people crying when no one is around, and even ghosts out on the foggy water late at night. What do you think? Would you go out onto the lake for a boat ride or swim? We hope you enjoyed this week's story. Our friend Michaela suggested it, so Michaela, thank you for the tip. If you liked our story, we hope you'll consider liking our video and subscribing to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Till next time.